Hello, everybody. Welcome to the fifth and final session. Yes, I said it. Session of how to make money with email. We have done it. We are all millionaires because of email so far, right? Because of these four sessions up to this point. Oh, no. Oh, the voice in my ear is telling me no, we still have one more session before we all get rich. Okay, well, we'll make sure we cover that today. Um, where we left off yesterday, I'm going to skip all the niceties and how'd you do and are you struggling and blah blah blah, all that stuff. You can tell me afterwards. I'll stick around if you have any questions and you want to talk about your situation and what's going on. The the stuff that we have today is a little bit more nuanced, and there's I'm gonna give high level strategy um, related that some of this is we have to do some marketing 101 with some of this, but the role that email plays is foundational. Just a quick aside. So I've been doing this mastermind now for several years with Raptive, and in the last 3 or 4 months, stuff has changed faster than it probably ever has before in email. It's crazy the stuff that's happening, and the year prior to that, we already saw some things happening. So at a high level, um, as of August or September, thanks to the good folks at Raptive and the connections that they've made with our different email programs, we have a much better look when at how much you're making money, how much money you're making when somebody clicks through your email. We talked about that yesterday, but I want to emphasize this one more time. Anybody who's within the sound of my voice that is doing blogging and cares about how much money they make, that ROI calculator that I shared with you, if you haven't gone and thought that through a little bit, that is a rudimentary calculator. I actually, for my clients that sign up for a done for you service, it's an expensive service. So I walk them through the ROI so that they know upfront, what the opportunities are for them to either make money or spend money to invest for their future. Um, I've never been able to do that before with this level of granularity. So what's my point? My point is everything that we've been talking about up to this time, the email has been kind of the redheaded stepchild in the digital world. There's always been something that's flashier, more exciting, that might have larger payouts. I mean, heck, yesterday we were talking about marginally increasing our RPMs by sending a few more emails. We were talking about dripping some revenue streams through affiliate programs. But really, what we're talking about foundationally, and I have some of the biggest bloggers in the world coming to me now because they know how important this can be for them to do anything else. And those anything else things are the things we're going to talk about today. You may not be at the point where you're ready to do any of the things that we're going to talk about today. In fact, I expect that most of you aren't, just in my experience. However, what I hope to do is plant some foundational seeds that give an understanding to a topic in marketing that you can then leverage in whatever way your CEO brain takes you. So let's get into, and I'm on a smaller setup here with my laptop, so it's harder for me to see your faces or the chat or the presentation all at the same time. So if I miss a question or some body language that somebody is raising their hand or something, just interrupt me, and I'll say rude, but then I'll answer you. Okay. Here we go. Sharing my screen. All right. We're just diving into selling something. Okay. Some of you, June has a cookbook shared with me yesterday. In fact, I didn't know you had that. It looks fantastic. Um, and then Whitney has an ebook that she says is setting the world on fire. So that's pretty exciting. And I'm sure that some others of you have products or products in the works. Maybe you have a travel guide, financial course. Maybe it's consulting arrangements, whatever it may be. You might have some of those things in the works or that you're building right now. This slide, you remember this, I'm pulling from Tastemaker, and I have a strong majority of food creators here on this particular session, so I feel okay about it. But this is true for everybody. What can you sell? Anything from courses and ebooks, video series, conferences. We have people that are doing, membership groups and cohorts, any sort of digital product that you can think of. Some of the biggest ones in food. This is Maya from Wholesome Yum. And if you follow Maya at all, you know that she's one of the most diversified bloggers out there. But she has a lot of digital products by way of cookbooks. A lot. What she has not done is created, is opened up Canva, threw 5 recipes together and called it an ebook and hoped to get rich off of that. She has invested heavily in this strategy. And by doing so, she's created a product line. She is known for her recipes and for her digital products. That's a difference from many bloggers that are, starting from a content base. The sheer effort of creation, maintaining, and then promoting these that's the secret here. You're all creators. It's what are you creating in what format that is worth now them, opening up their wallet or giving you their credit card. And Maya has figured out ways to do that. If you sell cookbooks at all digitally, go spend hours on her site, sign up for her newsletter, and see how she promotes it. I don't have time to break down everything that she does. She is giving you a masterclass all the time simply by what she does. One of her tricks is bundles. And the opportunity with a bundle is it's a promotion, really. It's a reason to talk about your product or somebody else's products in a new way. And with email, the art of selling through email is really the art of telling stories and serving. It's just the mechanism by which it's simply the medium that we use to do that. Nisha from Rainbow Plant Life has a very unique take on meal plans. So if you're interested in that, go see how she has built out her actual product. The purpose of this seminar is not about the products themselves, but I do think it helps to understand how people who are having success are building the products. And might I also say, at risk of being a jerk, take a moment and evaluate the amount of effort they're putting into it. Are they really investing in this? I know how. No, I don't know. I have heard stories. I have watched from afar the amount of work that goes into putting together a cookbook. But your job of creating the cookbook is just this part of your success journey. Getting to this part does not mean you are done or successful. It might feel great that you have a physical product that you can show people that has your name on it and it establishes you as a subject matter expert. That's great. But if we want financial success and we want to make money, then we have to turn the way we think about these products. We have to turn that into a system that is different from how you are blogging or creating free content. I hope you don't mind me dipping out of the email role for a minute and putting on my marketing hat to talk about that, because my experience has been that many of my clients and students are not well versed in this. It feels foreign. Maybe that's you. And my intent here is not to scare you away. As you know, with any entrepreneurial effort, it starts with a dream and a vision. It can start by getting lucky. It can start by accidentally falling into something great, but that's not how most of you built. So other things that your fellow food creators, yeah, I think everybody who's is live here today is food. What they're doing is, so this is Eating on a Dime. Carrie has a club called the Dinner Time or the Lazy Day Cooking Club, and she shares exclusive recipes, but also an exclusive community where these people pay to be part of this thing. And as part of that, she has Facebook Lives and other, perks, interviews and things that go beyond simply how to make a particular meal. The secret to sales for getting started and probably going forward into for the rest of time. I'm about to reveal it to you right now. So it wasn't that long ago that I was working with Kimberly and Josh from Sweet Red Poppy. And these folks are really fun. They've turned out to be good friends, but they're just prolific content creators. And Kimberly is herself particularly skilled at all things crafts. And I was in that mode and I said, hey, look, I could really use a testimonial from you. Would you mind? And they said, sure. And what I was expecting, in fact, I gave instructions on this. What I was expecting is for her to hold up her phone and say, hey, working with Matt's not been bad. It's been okay-ish. I was hoping for okay-ish. Well, she has a studio where she films her craft videos, and when her hair was done and the lights were all set up, she just rolled for another 90 seconds and she talked about what life was like before working with Matt, what it was like working with me, and what the results were. Specifically, she says, we have made literally hundreds of thousands of dollars by implementing what Matt taught us 6 months ago. When she says that, I can't pay for that kind of advertising. I can't buy that. Most of how we know each other here. I mean, think about it. I've had long-standing relationships with a few of you. Some of you were just meeting for the first time. But how do we know each other? If you think back, it was because of a recommendation from somebody else. I know that because I haven't done any advertising. You're here because Raptive said, hey, we're doing this free mastermind. We're paying for this dude to come talk to you about email. Or Allie, June, even Whitney, we met at a conference years ago. It was because of connections from somebody else. When you have a product and or a service, I'm just guessing that when you think about launching a cookbook, for example, one of the things that you do is you get a preface from somebody that is respected. You send it out to a few other food creators, and you say, hey, would you mind saying something nice about it? When you get those, the job is not done. If you can get more testimonials, and not just more testimonials, Nathan Barry from Kit or ConvertKit, he talks about this concept of flywheels. If you could figure out a flywheel where you are constantly getting testimonials, your marketing is almost done for you. Why am I spending so much time on this? Because there is nothing more powerful that you can email. This is how it relates to email. So, because Whitney was a willing guinea pig, this is a rhetorical question. Don't answer this, Whitney. How many testimonials do you have from people who paid for your for your ebook? June has Amazon reviews. She knows how important those Amazon reviews are. Probably had to beg and plead her sister-in-law, Mary Lou, to please write a review. I'm kidding. It looks like a beautiful cookbook that would get reviews on its own. But this is what we do and why we do it. So whatever your product is, don't underestimate the importance of getting real life humans to tell how it has helped them. If you can't do that, aside from the fact that you're scared, that it's a nervy kind of thing to ask. But if that's the only reason that you can't do that, let's put that aside for a second. If you can't do it for any other reason, for example, the product isn't that good, then forget about the email thing, forget about marketing, go fix the product. But once you have it, that product should stand on its own. And the amount of time that you spend chasing down testimonials, you will not be sorry. Yes, I am spending a crud load of time on this in this email call. I hope you understand why. I can't give you very many tricks. This is one of the tricks I can give you. In fact, I use this all the time. I'm just going to show you. Didn't intend to do this, but I'll just show you real life. Okay. If I create this email here, where's my screen? Oh my goodness, on the small laptop. There it is. All right. If I come on down here, look what I have under templates. Oh my gosh. Sorry. I have to hide you all. I can't even see it. All right. So if we go here, where is it? End of engagement. Hi, Danielle. As we wrapped up our consulting, I want to thank you for the opportunity to work on your email marketing. I hope that was time well spent, blah, 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 blah. If you felt I did a good job for you, a testimonial from you would be very helpful to me as I'm trying to build up my cred. Folks, I've been trying to build up my cred for 8 years. I continue to want to build up my cred. And when they go here, it takes them to Trustpilot, which if we change this out here, I think this is it. Yeah. Okay. So this is for a $500 course or a much more expensive consulting arrangement. People are coming in here, even as recently as January. Susanna said, I quadrupled my list. By the way, this happened. This is a good little story. It was so nice. This is one of those moments that just so gratifying. So it was in January. Susanna emailed me and she said, I just got to tell you, my biggest success from last year was my email. And I hadn't met Susanna. We hadn't talked. So she had just taken the course and done it. She said, and she was telling me, she showed me stats and everything. And I said, oh, this is so gratifying. I'm so happy for you. Good work. You've earned this. Would you mind? And I sent her this link and presto. Now, real people who might be evaluating whether or not they should work with me, whether this includes Raptive. Raptive pays me and has continued to pay me. And none of the Raptive reps are on this call right now. They're just trusting that I'm doing a good job. All right, enough of this. I'm spending way too much time on it. You can figure out systems to ask and be brave and ask more often. I don't care if the ebook is 3 years old. I don't care if the cookbook was so 2023. All right. Somebody today is discovering it and loving it, and they will say nice things about it. You just need to build the systems. And then when they do, what do we do with that? Well, we're going to use some of those elements in a sales launch. All right. With any sales launch, this is some of that marketing stuff that I want to give you, because you're not going to sell anything through email unless you have this stuff. Testimonials we talked about. Reviews along the same line. Offer some sort of guarantee. As we have established, you don't have the budget of Walmart or Lululemon to take out a Super Bowl ad. And so people, you're a relative unknown. You are a gamble. Your course, my son-in-law right now he's been talking to me about this course for 3 weeks, and they've got this money back guarantee, and that's the only thing that is keeping him considering doing it. It's a very expensive course, but he's like, yeah, but they'll give me my money back if it doesn't work. And that right there is getting him to hang on. On the other side of this, it's not worth it if somebody's upset with your product or your service to keep them ticked at you and saying and vibrating out there and saying bad things. I had one instance that I know of. There's probably been others, I guess, where people were not happy with my services, but one instance I didn't know. This was early on. This gal worked with me, and my normal engagement is about 8 weeks. I spent 6 months with her, like literally every week, trying to figure it out. And by trying to figure it out, find the right hooks that would work for her message. She just had a very interesting, different kind of business than what you all have. Anyway, so I'd charged her. We had gone through the whole thing. She did experience some growth. She had overhauled her whole tech setup. I I felt good about it. I mean, I wasn't a home run situation, but several years later, I'm in a Facebook group and I see somebody ask. This scares the heck out of me. Hey, what's it like working with Matt Moeller? And sometimes I'm in those groups and I'm just like, um, and most of the time it's nice people saying nice things. She went on and she went on there and she said, um, "This Matt Mullen was the worst money I've ever spent in my entire career." Oh, that was a gut punch to the gut. I had no idea she felt this way. Anyway, I went back to her. I gave her I know it's a few years later, but I gave her I gave her a full refund because I can't have that out there. This is in a blogging community where people like you are trying to decide whether or not you should work with me. And she says this. So, and this is also true for you. We just give them their money back. It's not worth it. Scarcity, time bound. If you're doing a launch of a new product or you want to get some new sales from in a promotional method, have a time element to it. We are almost sold out. There's a waiting list. This is going to be, we're closing down this pricing as of the end of this weekend. Give people a human reason to take action right now. Another thing that is really helpful is to add in some additional value in a launch. I don't know. We all know how popular Whitney's ebook is, but you might reach out to her and say, hey, is there a version of that we can include with my thing? And then you have that arrow in your quiver. And then she's going to come back to you and have you bundle your thing with on her next launch. Do those types of stuff and add value, or throw in a special Facebook Live training or whatever. Maybe, these special checklists and PDFs that you get with it are only available right now. It's stuff that doesn't cost you much, if anything, but adds a strong perceived value. And last but not least, ChatGPT is not going to solve this for you, but it's not terrible. But your landing page, we're going to do all this work to sell something. You're going to have ads. That's not me. But you're going to be talking about it on Instagram. That's not me. But we're going to be sending emails. That's me. And then they're going to come to this landing page and you're going to want them to buy. Doggone it, nail the landing page, as they say in gymnastics. I think that's the term. This is an example. Just jot this down and go through their landing pages when you have some time. Truvani sells protein powder. And a couple of things to keep in mind with the protein powder. If we were to go dissect every one of those landing pages, you'll see that they've figured out one very important principle. What is the main thing? And then they sell the heck out of the main thing. What do I mean by that? When you're buying protein powder, is it the fact that the protein powder is made organically and doesn't have any sort of such and such and such and such chemicals? No. Is it the fact that it's 12 grams of protein or 14 grams of protein? No. The number one thing is the taste. Always, always, always with protein powder, the number one thing. And they've figured that out. Go see how they address that. What is your product's number one thing? June, what is the number one thing for your cookbook? Whitney, what is the number one problem that your ebook solves? In my case, Email on Autopilot talks about list growth. It talks about email marketing automations. It talks about GDPR in there. The number one thing people care about is the list growth. So despite the fact that it talks about all these other things, when I am doing launches on this course, you better believe I am saying When Emily discovered email on autopilot, she was actually hemorrhaging email subscribers. And when she implemented its principles, her list has gone up 5 billion%. This is the type of thing I talk about. So what is the number one thing? And then hammer it with the testimonials that talk about it. You see how this is kind of coming together? Last piece on the copywriting on your landing page. I promise you, whatever you've written, it's not good enough. I'm being a jerk, but I know I haven't looked at it. I can promise you it is not good enough. This is not what you do for a living. So go spend some time and commit yourself to making one that looks as good as Truvani's or better, literally as long as theirs. And you're like, well, I already covered this piece. Guess what? They cover the same thing in lots of different ways over and over and over again. There's a reason for that. You don't need to take the whole marketing courses for this. They've already doing it for you. Just go copy what they're doing. All right. Let's talk about, what do you email people? Sales funnel. I get this one, asked this question a lot. Does this look like a lot of emails to you? I've had people actually leave the session because this is crazy talk. Let me just start by saying you don't have to send all these emails, and they don't have to go in this order. And I recognize that if you do send all these emails, you run the risk of irritating your audience. Before I get into all that, let me just reassure you, there's a way to allow people to opt out. Okay. So at the beginning, let's say that we're going to do a sales funnel of 5 emails. After the first one, emails 2 through 5, at the top, I will say something along the lines, are you absolutely sure that you don't need the How to Be as Awesome as Amy course? Click here to mute any future emails about this particular promotion. And then they click that. It sets a tag. And in your Flowdesk, in your MailerLite, you just exclude that tag from future sends in the sequence. See how you can make an automated sequence. Email 2 is sent to everybody except people with that tag. Email 3, same story. So that's a way that people can get out. All right. A traditional sales email funnel, and of course, this is cookie cutter. I'm giving a cookie cutter session here. Your thing is going to be different and should be, but I'm just giving you some ideas. Well, quite often, we will start by teasing and kind of priming the pump. We are going to be talking about this struggle, about this this issue, this problem that people have and how we solve it. So what's your biggest struggle with picky eaters? What's your biggest struggle with eating on a gluten-free diet? And they're going to tell you, man, I just can't find the recipes that actually taste good. They all taste like chalk. Or, man, you know, the stuff that my kid wants is just not healthy at all. That's their biggest struggle. You already know what they're going to tell you. So you can prep the next series of emails. And then on launch day, that is, hey, I have a product. This is a long form description. This is not the typical Matt Mullen short email roundup style. This is this is that Truvani landing page in an email form, if we can get away with it. We're putting testimonials in there with links to take you to the landing page. We're putting features in there with links to everything that you can think of. You're putting a long form description of your offer in there. Now, these next 3, any order, but I found these to be effective. First of all, again, not in order, but an email about the main feature. This is where that email would come from. You just would be purely about list growth. And Truvani is purely about taste. They're forgetting about I'm forgetting about the GDPR laws for a minute. I'm forgetting about how to set up these forms. It's just, you're going to grow your list by this much, and so-and-so did, and so-and-so did, and so-and-so did, and so-and-so did. Testimonials. This is another one where it's like, literally, you've seen these emails. Sometimes they're sloppy looking, but they really work. They just copy and paste maybe a Facebook thread, a private DM that they got. I am loving the whatevers. That stuff matters. It adds credibility that other people out there are doing it. Or if you have a Trustpilot, like, you can go find Susanna and ask her questions. I did not make trustpilot.com. So you can go find her and chase her down if you want. So you include stuff like that in here. You might have an email that is like that explains every objection possible. If they were sitting in front of you, how would you answer the question when they say, yeah, but how would you answer that? And then just put it in email. And be honest, because your product is not right for everybody. Yeah, but it's too expensive. Well, actually, if you are serious about email, the $500 course is just a tiny investment compared to some of the other software that you're going to get. And you should be making that money back in the next month or two if you have any sort of page views at all. Yeah, but I want it in pink. Well, I'm sorry, we don't have it in pink. Maybe next year we'll have it in pink. That's it. If you get those objections, that's what you say. Now, this last part, you've seen this plenty, and we talked about it. It really needs to end. We have to threaten them. We're taking this away. And this works. Our brains are like this. Oh, I can't miss out. By the way, I already mentioned this, but I'm going to mention it again. It relates here. I saw a thread in a Facebook group that I'm in where people were sharing the most effective subject lines. I thought that was a cool thread. And I've tested this literally for 20 years. The subject line that has worked best for me is, did you miss it? The fear of missing out is a very real thing. I have the intent to buy the ebook, and I'm going to get it, but she's also got the bonus Facebook Live session that I could be part of if I just act now. So why am I waiting? I'm just going to do it. Otherwise, I'm going to miss out on the bonus. I don't want to miss the bonus. This is why this is done. You have to do at least one of these emails. You don't have to do 3. A lot of people will do 2 on the final day. But I am, it depends on on the offer and how serious I am about it. But I'll do even up to the last hour, last chance. And this is when the bulk of your sales will come, by the way. Over 30% probably, right in here. This last one, some of you will feel icky about this. I know I did until I got over it. The next day, it's great news. We realized that some of you were unable to actually hit the deadline, so we extended it, for an additional 24 hours. You'll pick up another 15% of sales with that. Now, you can't keep doing that. You can't just keep extending it. But if you build it into your plan, it's going to happen. All right. As you probably heard me say, I worked in the daily deal space for many years, for about a decade. And the dirty little secret of daily deals is that very seldom are there any real, true, awesome deals. They come and they go, but it's usually on some sort of liquidation. Somebody's liquidating something, and that is very scarce. Those are the best deals. Everything else is a minor percentage off that the brand is willing to do almost all the time anyway. Or it's Chinese schlock that we were selling from that you can get at the markets in Hong Kong or in Shenzhen or whatever. And so I had to figure out how to sell that stuff in a way that felt like a deal. This is how this is done. And you can implement this too. It is as simple as creating a promotional calendar. This is what we do in corporate America or corporate anywhere, right? Is we have to coordinate with the other departments, don't we? The marketing team just can't go do whatever they want without the sales team knowing, without the customer service team being aware, without the accounting team being ready to handle it, without the supply chain being notified. The guys and girls that clean the building after we leave, for whatever reason, they need to know about it. I don't know. It's how it always goes. And that's why nothing ever gets really launched super duper fast, because you have to think it through. Well, do the same thing on your scale. Create a promotional calendar. That you're not creating a cookbook, putting it out there and forgetting about it. That cookbook is now a part of your product and part of your revenue streams. So it needs some attention. So Look at the next 6 to 12 months. Pull out a calendar, write down every month of the year, and say, when do my meal plans make the most sense to promote? Well, January makes a lot of sense because people are getting back on their health. Black Friday makes a lot of sense. Or how about right before summer when people are committing to, to looking their best for summer? Right there, you have 3 different times that it makes sense to have a promotion. And a promotion does not have to be a discount. I have that here. It doesn't have to be a discount. But it could be any of those other things that we talked about, where you just add in something that changes the value, where you decide to terminate the product. You're going to go end of life on it. And so it's almost gone. Get it while it's still here. That's a promotion. By the way, Rick Steves does that all the time, doesn't he? Those of you who know who Rick Steves is, if you're headed over to Paris this year, he has the Paris 2025 guidebook that he wants to sell you. I got to tell you, the Paris 2018 guidebook is going to cover almost all the same things. And you're going to get mostly, maybe the prices have gone up a few euro to go up the Eiffel Tower, but the process and the things to do are going to be mostly the same. Changing the theme can sometimes work. I have a version of my course, Email and Autopilot, that is just for Instagrammers. I haven't rolled that out in 4 years, but I had great success with it when I did. And all I did was change the first module where I talked about the Quick Start Guide and how you build it and how to promote it. Instead of aiming it towards bloggers, I aimed it towards Instagrammers and had a lot of different examples there. But the fact that it was for Instagram, it was a different product. So you can put different skins on these things, give them different titles. And then we talked about partnerships and things. Okay, look, what I didn't talk about with all of this is how do you use email exactly for this? I don't even have a slide on this. And the reason for that is that is going to be wholly dependent upon you and this promotional calendar and the product. Most people will want to find ways to have evergreen mentions of their products. That might be in the footer. That might be in your Evergreen Forever series, where you just talk about the products that you have spaced out every 4 to 6 months. But then you're going to want to have them in the Quick Start Guide so people know that you have them coming up. But you're not going to sell very many from the Quick Start Guides because people don't know you and don't trust you yet. But at least it's not the first time they're finding out about the fact that you have this really cool cooking club. Okay, so I'm not giving you any specific. I haven't even looked at the chat. I don't know if anybody's had any questions as I've been going. So if you have, I apologize. But I have not given any specific advice here. All I'm saying is that if you are serving your audience well and you're growing that audience as big as you can, and you're consistently giving them really great value, then this is going to be a natural part of what you're doing. All right. Okay. There were no questions. Is this thing even on? Let's see. Does anybody have any questions on sales before I leave? Because I'm going to leave it. We're going to stop talking about selling a product. If you have a product or a service that you've been thinking about in a specific instance, situation, let me know. Otherwise, I'm giving you just high-level stuff. That's the worst kind of mastermind, isn't it? It's the worst. You want something that you can go just do right now. All right. Well, that was the first 3 days. It's just platitudes and theory at this point. All right, let's get into this part. These are actual things that you can do right now if you want. There are new ways to make money with sponsorships in your emails. Look at my cute AI generated graphic. Isn't that neat? The email, the money is literally in the email, meaning if you get the right sponsors to pay you to insert their message in your email, cha-ching. This is not new. This has been around a long time. It doesn't exist in the way that we're used to, like Raptive does with ads. I mean, it does, but not in the same way. It's not as effective. And the reason for that is mostly because the blogging world has not proven the value of their newsletters to brands yet. What does that mean? There's not enough volume for a big brand to double down. Your list of 100,000 people is not very many impressions in their big budget spends, and that's where the money is. So much of the stuff that we're going to talk about here is a little bit more homegrown. And this is the reason I'm saying that is that's why you're not, it's still cheaper for Microsoft, for Honda, for, Costa Vida to advertise off big networks that distribute their message in a big way, diversify it, bring the overall cost down, and get more eyeballs. But there are sponsors that will love you and your audience. You just need to change your focus a little bit. First, understand what your list is all about, who it's for. Number two, grow it like crazy. Okay, but get that out of the way. That's where that segmentation comes into play, because that's how you can start to attract the advertisers that know that we should be advertising with you. I got to tell you, the newsletters in finance, those people are crushing it. They're printing money, they're talking about money, and they're printing money because of it. Because the credit card companies, the Robinhoods of the world, the Coinbase crypto platforms, they want those eyeballs. And if somebody is reading a finance newsletter, what does that tell you about them? In the case of Disney, I had multiple, when I was active, I had multiple sponsors paying me to advertise their agency, their insurance, their Disneyland tickets. I had an arrangement for a while with a company called ARES. I had an arrangement with Getaway Today. So these companies were paying me to sponsor my newsletter because it was so targeted. The best place to start here, though, is to be good at affiliate and prove that you can convert. Because once you do, you're off to the races. What do I mean by that? Let's say that one of you is really into keto, all right, low carb recipes. Well, people who are into keto, they have specific flours and products that they use to reduce the amount of carbs that are in, right? Butcher Box loves those people. The Butcher Box is a good example. Let's go with that one. If you want to be a sponsor or a paid advertiser with Butcher Box as the sponsor, go do some stuff for free or do it as an affiliate and prove that people convert when you send messages about it. Be strategic here. This is another example. I wanted Cricut to advertise. So I segmented down my list to it was just a no-brainer, right? I segmented down my list and found out everybody that was into Disney crafts, and then those that were into Disney doing Cricut crafts. And then I created a special newsletter for them and started sending them content. And then from time to time, I would introduce the affiliate links for Cricut on different things and how we would use those in our projects. Became one of the largest Cricut affiliates pretty fast. And that's when the conversations about ad dollars came into play. Do you remember the affiliate I was telling you about with the meat and the just yesterday, right? Wasn't that yesterday? Amy with her chicken hack. This is what I'm talking about. Now, here's how this works at the corporate side. There is an advertising arm. Usually they outsource that stuff. But their biggest partners, they have people that are on those. The affiliate stuff is often outsourced to an agency as well, but it's more likely that in that case that a smaller company has a brand manager over affiliate. This is why affiliate is a great way in if you're wondering about how to get the sponsorships. Do a great job with affiliate, become super buds with the affiliate manager, and then start negotiating. I didn't talk about this, did I, yesterday? On affiliate, you can negotiate like crazy. If you get results, you can ask for anything. Going back to that small company that I was the CMO, we didn't have a budget. We didn't have venture funding or anything like that. So we didn't have a lot of marketing dollars. So we spent on stuff that we would pay after the acquisition had happened. We were happy to give you money as an affiliate if you had results. So we had companies like Deal News and Brad's Deals pushing our daily deals. Because Brad's deals got such good results for us, they could ask for the moon and I would give it to them. On Black Friday once, they came to me and they said, look, we will do this big push for some of your stuff, but we need an extra 5% commission on it. Sure. So glad you thought of me. Yay. It's a huge win. This is what's happening over there with the affiliate manager when you become a great advocate for the product. A couple of things on that, by the way, because I know a lot about this. The relationship is everything. They may not be paying attention to you. They may not, if you're going through, by the way, if you're going through impact.com or ShareASale does anybody even know what I'm talking about? Okay, thank you. I just had the realization that maybe nobody's doing anything with affiliate and that this is a total waste of time. If you are going through the ShareASale program, do whatever, and you're getting any success at all, do whatever you can to find out who the human is that runs that program for that brand. Become their friend. Serve them. And what do I mean by that? Find out what's their goals for this month. What are you trying to achieve? What are you wanting to push? Because they have their internal goals. And if you go push those things and have success, or give them feedback. Hey, I went to go, like I do this with Kit all the time. I have an affiliate arrangement with them. And some of you came in through my affiliate link. So when June gets really, really mad about ConvertKit or Kit, and she sends me a flame mail, you better believe I'm sending that to my affiliate manager over there in the spirit of partnership, not of complaining, in the spirit of partnership. Hey, our mutual clients are not happy about this. What can we do about it? You do the same thing. Help them build their business, and you will build a relationship that will last you for a very, very long time. I knew who all my top affiliates were. And even if they weren't the biggest, I knew if they got results, they got thank you gifts from me every Christmas. They got cards when they were having children. I knew the names of their children. Okay. Even if they weren't my biggest, I knew I could count on them. And that was important to me. All right. I've really spent too much time on that. But I guess I'm passionate about it because I've seen it work so many times and nobody does it. And if you'll do it, you can have these seemingly small wins that can turn into something big, like a big advertising arrangement. So I won't divulge the brand, but this is how I did it with a different brand. Is I started with affiliate. I proved to them that this is with the Disney stuff. I proved to them that it worked. And then I milked an arrangement where I was getting $1,000 a month for sending an email to an audience of 14,000 people, a very specific segment. Look, was that making me rich? No, but doggone it, $1,000 a month of revenue for my business that I could count on for sending one email a month. You'd take that, right? So all of that is possible by planting those seeds. All right, let's get back into this. If you're going to do this, and you're going to start putting ads in your newsletters, you're going to want to have a template that showcases an ad somehow. A good example of this is Nourish Move Love. Go sign up for Lindsay's email and you'll see how she does this. nourishmovelove.com. Somebody put that in the chat since I can't see the chat. And then fill that space with an affiliate, with a partner, with your own stuff. It's a great way to share your own stuff. The point here is not to make money right now. The point here is to just set things up to make money in the future, because this conveys to your audience that, yeah, we have sponsors. They get over it. It conveys to your brands that, yeah, we take sponsors. Come on. And it gives you a spot where you can share those things. And then down at the bottom, give a link of how people can sponsor the newsletter. This is just for anybody who happens to be seeing it. And then create a link that has your media kit and has demographics. If you need to do a survey so you can justify your demographics, even if you don't have everybody, you can have some stats that you can say, my audience is this many people and they all make over $300,000 a year and whatever that is attractive to an advertiser. If you need help on that, again, Google's your friend. Just go look for a bunch of media kits of any company and just copy one of those. Do your best and copy one of those. This right here is your number one goal for this whole initiative. It is not about you making money. It is about making money for your brand partner, because if you do, that money will be there for you over and over and over again. Again, if you are a sure bet, somebody's got this big, brand partner has this big marketing budget. They're going to take a big chunk of this and they're going to send it over to an agency that's going to farm it out to somebody like Raptip. And then they're going to go, but doggone it, when I go to TarasTeaspoons.com, she promotes our OXO cheese grater in a way that you wouldn't believe. And so OXO is going to promote, I can't remember who that was, but let's just say it was Tara. They're going to be there every single time. They're going to devote that budget for you because it works for them. They want the sure thing. Here's some companies that monetize right now. Beehive. I'm just going to jump all over the place. Beehive is a competitor to Kit and to Flowdesk and to Substack, and they have something in there called Beehive Boosts, which basically allows you to get paid for promoting other people's newsletters. Sparkloop is now owned by Kit, but they do the same thing. It doesn't have to work just with Kit, even if you're on, well, heck, any other platform. Sparkloop is a pretty cool little deal because you can promote another newsletter, and you'll get paid $3 and up for a subscriber that stays on that. Paved is a marketplace where you can go say, hey, I have a newsletter and I have space for sale in that newsletter. You can straight up go to Live Intent and take some of their crappy ads and have it be, it's called programmatic advertising. It's what Raptive does, right? Raptive's ads are not crappy. That's not what I'm saying. Live Intents historically have been. They're the ones that have like, use this technique to get gobs of earwax out of your ears immediately. I love those ads. Anyway, the Live Intent, boy, I really sold them hard, didn't I? But you can get paid for ads like that. Kit now has their sponsor network. They have really struggled to do a decent job. I'm just being honest here. In fact, I can't say anything. The team is changing. How about that? And so I expect it. I have hope that it will perform better and just not be the organizational mess that it has been up to this point. There's different types of ads that will happen from these companies. Like, and this is a case of example from ConvertKit, when they have this direct advertiser, like WildGrain might come to them and say, hey, we've got a budget we're willing to spend on a certain number of creators and a certain number of impressions. And then they have others like programmatic, which are powered by things like Live Intent and show the ads to everybody that happens to fit. An editorial format that looks something like this tends to do better. I'm giving you, again, very high level cookie cutter stuff. So if you're doing my roundup style of newsletter, you probably want to break it up and have more content sections, more things for people to read than just, a quick list of recipes. But that's just a finding that you have people who are reading more in depth are more apt to interact with ads. When you do this, don't be afraid to add your newsletter into your upsells for sponsored posts. Does any of you do sponsored posts with brands? Some of you have swore off a few years ago. Maybe you come back to it. I see that happening a lot. The idea there is just add this in as a value. So let's say your list is 10,000 subscribers right now. Maybe in a little bit, it'll be 24,000. Maybe after that, a year or two, it'll be 50,000, whatever. As it grows, it has more and more of a value. You can either throw that in as a deal, but because you assigned it a value, it's like, normally this costs an extra $2,500, but because we're going to do a 3-month sponsorship package altogether, I will include a few emails that would normally be, a value of $7,500 over the 3 months. But because we're doing a package deal, I'm going to throw that in. So you can just do something like that if you want, or you can straight up sell it and assign it a value. You're going to ask me, what value should you assign it? Well, that's hard. But it is a higher RPM than almost anything else. The only thing that's beating it right now across the board tends to be Pinterest. There's something about the user intent of Pinterest versus everything else where those ads are paying more. But email, my stats show that when somebody comes from email, the time on site is more than double a general session. If you think about your audience, you get to push a message to somebody that, in my case, is thinking about Disney stuff. It's not a guess anymore. But just that's this exercise to start with. Just take a shot at it, do something that feels uncomfortable, and then just sit back and see what they say, and just go with it. You'll learn. Skip. On this slide, please don't rely on outside management companies to do this for you. If you have a management company that does this well for you, will you email me and tell me who they are? I've been doing this for years. I've not met one that, even if they're really good at getting sponsored posts, that knows how to pitch email. They know nothing about it. And that's not necessarily their fault. It's because as a blogging community, we have sucked at email compared to other platforms. So this is you coming up with understanding your audience and your brand partner. Here's an example. Massive food blogger. I guess it's 3 summers ago. Dang it. Okay, 3 summers ago, was approached by one of the largest grocery chains in America to promote their summer produce. It was this big package, sponsored posts and everything. And she said, tell you what, I will make a quick start guide about how to, of the best recipes with the freshest produce, and I'll run it all summer long. And for my troubles, that's going to cost you an extra big number. And she puts it into that package. They said yes. Now, what was this? You already know what a quick start guide is. All she was doing was driving traffic to these posts that happen to be sponsored posts by the grocery chain. So she gets paid for the ad, or excuse me, for making and promoting the quick start guide. She gets paid per click because people come to that. She got paid for the sponsored post, and she got new subscribers from the content. Is your agent going to come up with that? You can, though, because you start to see what's possible here. If you are told, and you want to let's say the ButcherBox is your target, start doing ButcherBox for free. It costs you nothing. It really, yeah, sure, there's some minor opportunity costs, but the bigger upside, if you know that you can nail it for them and you go get some results, just start advertising their stuff for free and keep track of the stats. And don't judge the results on the first try. Everybody at first knows that you're just in it for the buck. When they see an ad, they're like, okay, they're paying the bills. I get it. But don't you have a favorite podcast that you listen to where that person has talked about Thursday boots for years and years and years and keeps talking about Thursday boots? I happen to be wearing my Thursday boots right now. And pretty soon I start seeing ads for Thursday boots in other places. And now I'm considering, because Chris Harris likes Thursday boots, maybe I like Thursday boots. I literally am going through this right now in my head about Thursday boots. All right. Let's go back to our baby here, because I'm going to go to my baby, my grandbaby here in a few minutes. It's time to get going. We are crawling before we walk and walking before we run. This whole email thing, it all starts with where we started, growing the list. If you'll focus your attention on that for now, I think for most of you, that's the opportunity. Not all of you. There's a couple of you who are doing quite well there and could probably stand to dip a toe into some of these other waters. But most of you, growing that list bigger is going to create the biggest how to make money with email opportunity. Just pure and simple. I'm going back to what I said before. It's this dumb. It's this simple. Grow the list bigger. Send more emails and get more clicks. That's what we've been focusing on for these 5 days. I hope that you have found something in that that's inspired you to go to make a few changes. If this has been helpful to you, it really would, and I know this is self-serving, but you'd be doing me a huge favor if you would let the folks at Raptive know. Send an email to support@raptive.com right now and let them know that this was helpful. Why? Well, it helps me out a lot, sure. But they are spending real dollars on this. They tried to pay me in dairy products, and I said, whoa, 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 hold up. Now, if that had been eggs, maybe that would have been a thing, Whitney. But with the dairy products, I have an intolerance a little bit. And so now they're just sending me rolls of quarters just to spite me. But anyway, they're actually investing in you. And if you want them to keep investing in you on email or SEO or whatever the new whiz-bang platform is, then letting them know that these efforts are appreciated just fuels their fire. Second, you will not be a bother to me. Allie maybe, but the rest of you will not be a bother. Feel free to email, send me a text, drop me a chat. We're going to keep this Facebook group alive. I have not closed one ever. So if you need to reach me, there's no excuse to not be able to reach me. I want you to be successful. And I know that there are points where you can get stuck. And I usually, if I don't know the answer, I know somebody who might, or I just make something up. Okay? So you will not be annoying. Let me know how I can help. With that, we kind of hit that time where we just look at each other and, we got to sign each other's yearbooks and promise to keep in touch over the summer. And then it never happens. And so, maybe one day we'll all meet at a Raptive event somewhere. Cool. That'd be fun. But I hope this has been helpful to you. But good luck. Whatever you do, don't blow it. Everything's riding on this. So I wish you the best with your email. Let me know how it goes. If you have any questions, go ahead and we'll open it up. Ask away. If you got to get out of here, we'll see you. I look forward to hearing about your email success.
Thank you, Matt. I have a question before you go from this official meeting. So I launched my Quick Start Guide yesterday, so it's been about 20 hours.
Okay.
And it's gotten 6 subscribers.
Okay.
It's a bummer because the one that I took down is my biggest one that gets hundreds of subscribers.
Okay.
And so
we're actually going the wrong direction then.
Yeah, it's only one day, but I just put a document in the chat for another quick start guide that was my backup.
Okay.
And wondering if you'll take a peek at that and see if I'm in the right direction.
Okay, sure. So did you go with the egg list thing? Is that what you went with?
I did, yeah.
Okay.
I did.
Yeah. All right. I think this is a better direction already, just looking at sharing my screen. Well, as I mentioned, the problem with the egg thing is how much of a problem is that for those people that are Googling you at that moment? And is the pain point real enough where you were going to be able to solve that in a way that was super easy to communicate and all that? So, by the way, I'm dealing with one right now where I think that I literally right before this, I got an email. I think that the opt-in, the pop-up looks fantastic, but nobody is signing up. So the first thing is like, is this thing on? So we're always go run through I'm not saying this is your issue, but just for everybody else, just test it. Make sure that you actually see the pop-up or the form yourself, that you put your email address in there, that you get it back. So first we need to find out if there's a technical issue. Assuming that there's no technical issue, need to know easy bread recipe. So the need to know is cute. Bread baking journey. Why did you choose this lead magnet?
You mean, oh, the lead magnet.
Why did you choose this
My
message?
sandwich bread is one of my top performers, as is my cinnamon rolls.
Okay.
So I was going back to what you had suggested to my top performers and figuring out a series.
Do you mind what was working so well that you took down?
My seasonal one, I always put my brownie tip guide, my free, get a free brownie tip guide up in January and February because of chocolate.
Okay.
And it does really well during that time of the year.
Okay.
So it was coming down anyway
Yeah.
soon.
So you're
but
looking for the replacement. Yeah.
yeah.
And I hope the message wasn't take down something that's working to try one of these other
No,
things.
it was
Okay.
coming down anyway.
Okay. So my first thing on that, let's come back to the bread here in a second. And we didn't really talk about this. But if I'm doing a deeper, more thoughtful analysis of your situation, if you have something that's working, because I'm operating off the assumption, I'm working off of the assumption of somebody that has never missed a recipe or, get an update or those sorts of things. So the first place to go is your traffic. But if you also have something that historically has been working well, I might ask myself, why is that working well? Sure, there's seasonality to that with the brownies and chocolate. But there is some evergreen aspects to chocolate. There's also aspects to the baking of brownies, right? That your audience obviously was into. And unless your Google traffic or your Pinterest traffic changes super dramatically after February to your top recipes, because they were probably coming in for that sandwich bread before anyway, right? And still clicking on the brownie stuff.
Coming through keywords. And honestly, I wonder too, I have never done a lead magnet without offering a free downloadable or down printable thing with it. So this was new to me to just offer an email series rather than a printable. And I wonder if I just need to add some sort of tip sheet or printable to entice my audience.
Well, okay, that very well could be, but it also could be the copy, meaning I understand what I'm getting when I'm getting a free downloadable thing. I want the free thing. If the copy is confusing, that's like elevate your baking, I don't really know what that means, versus download the free checklist. Oh, well, I get what that is. So that's the benefit of that. Now, I'm not saying, I don't know what I'm saying there, but if it turns out that the messaging of downloading the free checklist was working best for me, I would definitely lean into that.
Yeah.
And I would make it a 5-day series. I would include the checklist in email number 1, and then I would have, recipes in the way that I do it. That makes sense? Okay, well, let's talk about this then. Need to know easy bread recipes. Over the next 5 days, I'm going to guide you through easy, delectable bread recipes. Demystify. Those are some big words in there, Tara. So I don't know.
Yeah. 50% cut.
Yeah. How would you say that to if you were standing up in front of somebody? What would you say?
Right. Yeah.
Sourdough, a fraction of the time. Well, interesting. Okay. Fraction of the time. Is your cornbread too dry? Secret. I've got a secret that I can't explain.
And then let's see, is this number 5? Number 5, I haven't finished yet, so ignore number 5.
I am completely ignoring number 5. And number 6 is invisible. Okay. I saw 5 days of secrets.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, so I need to say, need to know bread making secrets.
I'm
Is that
just
what you're,
thinking about what is going to catch somebody's attention. Now, we're not talking about CIA level secrets here, okay? And we're not revealing what happened at Roswell or anything like that. The secret is use an extra egg to get fluffier results, or whatever the secret is. Or the secret is, did you know that you can actually bake bread in 30 minutes? The secret is this recipe.
yeah,
So that's what qualifies as a secret. Some people are uncomfortable with that
yeah,
messaging, but
that's a good one, Whitney, that she just put in the chat. Yeah,
bread secrets you need to know. I love it. And put a number in front of it. There's plenty of science on that, you know. So anyway, I like where this is going. I think
yeah,
this is a strong, it's a good shot to take. I don't know if it'll work or not. I do like the joint copy editing we've come up with here to try to make it a little bit more hooky and jazzy.
okay, cool.
You all have both this Facebook group and you have other communities of bloggers that you're BFFs with or whatever. Just send them whatever you agonize over and say, how does this headline grab you?
Perfect. Thank you for going over this really fast.
Yeah. Well, good luck. I hope it does well for you.
Thanks.
All right. Anybody else have any questions? All right.
I do, Matt. Sorry.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm in the process of switching over to Kit. And they did add you, they said finally onto there. And I guess I'm just like I wanted you to kind of know that because I feel like I was gonna say I don't know if I'm like super happy with the process right now.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where I'm like, it's fine, but I feel like a little more information at the beginning would have saved a whole lot of like stuff that I now have to like go back and redo a little bit.
Okay.
You know.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Anyway, so I just want to see if you, when you have a minute, if you can look at that migration process and see how you had
Yeah, I'd be happy
mentioned
to.
that you
Is
had.
there what are you getting stuck on? Or what are they getting stuck on?
So I kind of went through, so they just are like, they moved all my stuff over, but I had kind of been playing around with the different templates. And I didn't like tell them, oh, I'm going to use one specific template. So
Right.
they just picked a random template and made all my emails.
Oh, okay.
But that's not like how I want them to look. You know, like it wasn't. So anyway, it was that kind of thing. So I'm like spending time like going back and like fixing them all now because I don't want them to send out. And the other thing is like they told me I have to turn off my Flowdesk, download the people, send it to them, and then they'll upload it in amount of time. They just haven't been getting back quickly. So I'm worried that I'm going to do that and then I'm going to lose a bunch of people in the interim.
Okay. Well, I'm going to stop recording and then let's actually go look at it together.
Okay. Yeah.
And then we won't have people peeking in on your back office stuff.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Nisha, did you have any questions, or I don't want to leave you hanging either if you need.
I just have one question. In
Sure.
terms of the mailing list, you know how you split them in different categories?
Yeah.
What if we just left everything the same? I know the open rate's going to be different, but does that really matter, or you think it's just more for unsubscribing?
It's totally your call, right? So
Mhm.
let's say it's my business, all right, and I've got the Disney Cruise people, and I've got Disney coloring pages, and I've got Disneyland. Those are all very different things, but we know that there's a general interest in Disney. So when something Disney Cruise comes out and I send it to the whole list, there's going to be a bunch of people that don't want that. And the opens and clicks are going to be poor on that. And there's going to be unsubscribes on that.
Right.
But there will still be quite a few people that do want it. And then
Right.
when I send information about Disneyland, the same thing. And when I send information about the Disney coloring pages, the same thing. And with food though, because of the nature of your audience, it might be that it's all super close anyway, and it doesn't matter that much. You don't have to, I'm not trying to get you to segment just for the sake of segmenting. Don't force it. But I think if you come to a point where you're like, hey, I have my healthy vegan Indian food. I can't remember. It's healthy Indian food, right?
Yeah, healthy Indian, yeah.
And then what would another segment even be? What do you have?
I mean, I do have some indulgent stuff like for holidays and, special occasions.
So in that case, look, I eat healthy most of the time. I'm actually pretty proud of myself right now. I'm eating pretty good. But
Yeah.
at the holidays, like when there's here in the United States, the Super Bowl happened.
Yeah.
I I ate the pizza and I ate the dip and I ate all the stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't see those as completely separate segments.
Okay.
Does that make sense? They're not
Yeah.
strong. They're not so divided
Right. Right.
that
Okay.
I'm worried about that.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay, I hope that helps.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
All right.
Thank you. I'll drop off. So
Okay, we'll see you.
okay. Bye.
All right. So yeah, I wish. Oh,